long time no hear from. Let me fix my cord here so I can get adjusted so you don't hear all that rattling and carrying on. Hope everybody's doing good. Here in Connecticut today, it is an all-time high of 21 degrees. 21 degrees. So I had to make some adjustments, and I came out here to where I'm at, and I decided to go live with you guys because I have not gone live with you guys in a minute. I'm always running, and most of the time I'm outside, so I never really get away to I don't know, connect with y'all the way I want to. So I'm also going to be trying out something new. I found some information about an app that I think I'm going to use. It'll allow me to invite you guys, which is kind of exciting because I've never seen the what's the name. But anyway, let's get on to what we're here to talk about. And what to my heart is deer. All right, so me as a single man here in 2020 going into 2021, like many other men that are out there, and I see all these relationship videos all the time. I really look at them. So his mediocre tutorials, I pay attention to him. He kind of goes that MGTOW direction. Then there's other people I listen to. I even listen to women as far as relationships are concerned. And a lot of women will say, hey, well, I'm looking for this type of guy, the traditional type of guy, but in a sense, they don't have traditional type of values or traditional type of standards or care themselves in the traditional way that it would be warranted for that here in the Northeast, which is different than a lot of other places because I've been a lot of places in my life. So here in the Northeast, one of the main things is a lot of girls. What's kind of culture is the girls find them a guy to take care of them. To marry, have kids by, whatever, whatever. I have not reached that level, if you want to say. I have not ever been married. I've had long-standing girlfriends that I have had. My last relationship was like for 7 years. It's a great relationship. I miss my ex-girlfriend. We just had two problems: her cheating and me revenge cheating. Other than that, we were pretty good. um, this is my take on it. You guys can take it however you want to. Um, right now, doing COVID-19, right? This is one of the most unexpected times, and I think in American history, not to only mention world history. All right, so let's not get that out of the way. Let's not forget that. This plays part in a lot of relationships either going defunct or a lot of relationships going weird. It also separates something, and what it separates is this: it separates, in my opinion, social, not only social distancing, but what it also separates is the human interaction of touch, feel, interaction on a normal basis. You cannot interact with someone without feeling uncomfortable because of COVID-19. I get that. Here in Connecticut, out of the tri-state, Connecticut is one of the highest rising places, specifically where I'm at for COVID-19. All right. Like, I just ran into my friend literally this morning, and he told me not only his mother, but his two daughters also caught COVID-19 this recently. And he was distraught. And I sat there with him for a few minutes or whatever and talked to a Puerto Rican brother of mine. And I sat there and I just talked with him or whatever because I've known him for so long. You know what I mean? I know Alfie probably, I should his name. I've known him for probably good to 20, 21 years. He's always been a good friend. This was brought upon his aunt working at a nursing facility, and she contacted it, was asymptomatic, and brought it home. Women nowadays, it's going to be harder for men to get dates as we ease our way out of COVID 19. And this is what I mean. The world that we knew that was once regular at one time and the dating transactions that used to follow, they were already being skewed and turned by online dating, which I think is the worst thing in the world. I hate online dating. I know it works for some people, they have some success stories and everything like that. But generally speaking, for the average person, it doesn't work. And this is the reason why I think online dating ultimately doesn't work if it's only beyond a hookup. Because if you got places like Tinder, you got other dating sites or whatever, whatever, they're virtually used as just hookup sites. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing really stagnant and stable coming out of online dating, in my opinion. But I have seen people that have done online dating and it's worked for them for a short time anyway. Guys, make sure you hit those like buttons too. I appreciate it as you're coming in. It's right now. Hey, what's going on? Who is this? T Baby G, what's going on? Ghost APG Bully, what's going on? fellas, I need y'all to chime in with me today because we're gonna talk about what are our grievances as far as like dating nowadays and why is this weird vibe with so many women. I'm in the mall right now, right? I probably passed through this mall 4 or 5 times. I just had me something to drink or whatever, whatever. So I was drinking my tea and I was making a couple posts or whatever, whatever. And it just dawned on me because I just saw women walking through the mall and they were looking at me, but then like as soon as they look at me, they do this thing and start staring at the phone. And I know because I watch other women do their thing that that means that they're looking at you. But I'm just like, why is it all weird? And then it's like you almost want to say something like, "Hey, how you doing?" or whatever, whatever. But you almost feel uncomfortable at that point. Any of y'all ever felt like that? Like you feel uncomfortable. It's not like you're scared. You just feel uncomfortable. Like, okay, I want to say hi to you, but you making it weird. You know what I'm saying? Like your mannerisms, your gestures. A lot of girls have this new thing where they walk past you and wait till they get 2 feet in front of you and then start talking all loud on the cell phone. I guess that's the send the message of, hey, I'm not alone. Which in me, it translates to you are very alone. You know what I mean? But I just seen a lot of weird stuff and weird behaviors out of women. I've seen women talking to themselves. I've seen one woman, one time I was in this train station and I saw a woman do that same thing. So I know I'm not bugging. And she started, okay, first of all, she picked up the phone on one phone ring. It was like some Dr. Umar type shit. Hey, yo, no, I'm straight. I was saying it, but Dr. Umar did that. Hey, yo, I'm straight. No, I don't need the hitters. All right, I had to throw in a joke. I'm sorry, Dr. Umar. You know what I mean? You doing a fine, fine job, boy. Fine job. Get your paper, cuz. Dr. Umar Johnson, huh? Yeah, y'all stop laughing. Y'all stop laughing. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm gonna move on from Umar Johnson. Well, a lot of guys are trying to date now, especially guys in my age range. Like, if you're in your 30s, it's like kind of hard to like 30s, 40s. I'm gonna say 30s, 40s, mid 40s, that age range. So let's say anywhere between 30 to 49 ish. Is that fair? All right, so you still in the game, you still out. It is hard as hell to find a date nowadays. They call you thirsty if you approach them now. I've seen them hit on each other now, twerking, groping each other. We in trouble. I gotta talk about that, Ghost, and I'm gonna go to that right now. That's the thing that weirds me out the most. I'm glad Ghost brought that up. I will see these girls like when the clubs were open, and there's some places that have still been open as of recently. I'll pass through or something like that, and I will see the girls interacting with each other, groping each other, just like this guy said, touching each other, in some cases kissing each other. And I'm like, okay, what are we moving into? A whole, what is this, Wonder Woman in the Amazons? I mean, y'all gonna start a whole society of women? How far are you gonna get with that? Well, how long is that gonna last without procreation from men? How long will that society last? Peace, peace. What's going on? It's spooky, Ghost. What's going on, 305 Capricorn? Always on check-in. Salute. Yeah, I'm just asking the question. Like, why are women so weird? But you'll see these same women online talking about, oh my God, I got my heart broken by Pookie or Ray Ray or Sam or you know what I mean, like crying that heart out or whatever, and then they'll run back to it. As I speak about Meteor tutorials, and I implore you all to go check out that channel. He had a video up just recently, and it was really interesting to me because in the video there was a man and there was a woman, and the woman was she announced, she said to herself, she said, "Well, you know, I've always had men around me, and I had one particular man that I was in love with and was getting ready to get married to, and a blah 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 blah, and he treated me well and gave me the world or whatever, and for some reason I just felt empty with him, and I'm looking and I'm like, huh, Shaggy?" And then I started to pinpoint on to something else, and that's this. See, a lot of women and men, a lot of women and men grow up in situations and in households, black, white, polka dot, or otherwise, where there was no love. You understand what I'm saying? There was no one to express love to them. There was no one that gave them a hug. And many times it came from very rough households where you had a single mother in a lot of instances. And I'm not saying that a shitty father is any better either. But you had a lot of times where you had people that were upbringing or in charge of rearing these kids. And what happens is a lot of times these kids get scared. You understand? And the reason they get scared is because, or scorned, excuse me, is as they get older and older and older. And please hit the like buttons, guys. Get older and older and older and older. What you start to recognize is this is a wicked person. They're actually a matriculation of who raised them now. You understand? So if that person was scorned or mean or nasty, whether it be a single mom or dad, or both of them together being equally toxic. You know what I mean? I've seen that situation too. What happens is this is the byproduct of what they make. And that person or persons, whether it be brother and sister, two sisters, brother and brother, are now set upon the world into the dating world for us to consume. You understand what I'm saying? So now we have this toxic person out in society. You don't know their background. You don't know what transpired in their house. You don't know if they were well loved or not. You don't know if they were well liked or not. You don't know if they even know how to cook in some instances when it comes to women. And now they're duped into the dating pool. And to even bring this more to concern, I'm gonna put up a post, and I had talked about it before. It was a New Yorker magazine. I said the New York Post, but it was actually a New Yorker magazine. And in it, it's an illustration of a girl sitting in an apartment, and there's dirty Chinese food. There's all kinds of stuff sitting everywhere, right? And cabinets are open, and blah 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 blah. And they detailed this as the new millennium woman. And aptly suited, she is sitting online streaming. It's crazy. It's something in the water. LOL. It's not about love and respect anymore. Relationships now because became a business. You know, in many cultures, relationships have been a business. If we're talking about the royalty of England, if we're talking about where you have to have a dowry in the Islamic religion, whether you're talking about the Israeli religion, many times throughout history, people are married for, position, power, and finance. True, it's sad. My parents stayed together, but very toxic, fighting every day. I used to beg them to separate, but they claimed they wanted to stay together for the kids. And that's one thing that I don't agree with. I don't like this whole sentiment of I've ran into a lot of guys. I've been back out here in Connecticut now, approximately at January 1st will be 4 months. Um, how can I put this? I've seen a lot of guys out here that once when I left here, they were here and they looked like they were all right. They were doing okay for themselves. When I came back, and they don't look like they're doing the best. And in some places, you can obviously say they're not all right. So I look at these men and these women too, and I look at the situations they're in, and I hear them echo the same words that I just heard before. Well, why do you stay out here then if it's so terrible? And they say, oh, my kids, my kids. Well, do you think you're doing any benefit to your kids other than them seeing your face if you're sitting in a damaged area where lucratively there's not much here? The little bit that they do make here is reverted back into bills. I mean, give you an example. The minimum wage here in Connecticut is barely livable wage. They just raised it September the 1st, and it went up to $12. I mean, previously to that, you're talking high school money, okay? You're talking possibly, I could rent a room in the back money. You understand what I'm saying? This is not money to take care of yourself money. You understand what I'm saying? So the funny thing about it is most of the people that are trying to survive here and they will talk down about surrounding counties and surrounding places and how rough it is, they're experiencing the same thing themselves because previously they put forth an effort to do gentrification. I'm gonna get to the point here and I'll tell you how this transcends. Previously they tried to enact a form of gentrification. And just like in New York, the same gentrification, I think it was in the tri-state pretty much, the same act of gentrification they tried to do in these specific areas backfired on them once quarantine started and once COVID-19 started. So now you have a whole bunch of people that once tried to gentrify areas are now being gentrified themselves because they can't afford their rents, they can't afford bills, things like that. Now, in many cases, in most cases, previously that person that was a renter or a homeowner or whatever, they wouldn't have felt sorry for those people. But the same people want you to feel sorry for them and give them PPP loans. Now, these attitudes all mixed in together contribute to the downward spiral of dating. That's my point. See, it's all become a lucrative faction. I'm not trying to say it's all about sex either. But what I'm trying to say is you cannot date someone. It's very hard to date someone when you first come into the relationship or you first come into trying to meet them and the first thing they talk about is how many bills they got to pay. That's what I meant by explaining that. You understand what I'm saying? So the first thing I do as a guy, I was like, oh, I'm here to fix your life, huh? Is that it? Oh, and you got some babies? Oh, wonderful. You know what I mean? Not to say there's anything against dating women with kids. I'm just saying, like, oh, and you got some babies? So you got financial problems and kids. That ain't mine. I got you. And I'm not trying to say that is chicken change. Exactly. $12 an hour. To give you an estimate on the scale, in New York City, for minimum wage, it starts at $15 an hour. Okay, that was last year we did that. And even at $15 an hour, the only way you could break even out of that is if you live in Connecticut or Jersey. If you live in Connecticut or Jersey, you can make do with it. That's why I chose the way that I did. I said, I'm going back to Connecticut, but I'm not going to be on this end of Connecticut. You understand what I'm saying? I'm here because there's no place for me right now in the place that I'm ultimately going to be at. I hope everybody understands that. Can you all please hit the like button, please? I appreciate it so much if you could. And links are in the description. Cash App, Stringer Bell 80. I'm going to keep talking about this because there's a whole bunch of variables in this. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but right now during quarantine and different quarantine areas across the country, right now we're seeing something substantial, which is women are losing jobs at a faster rate than anyone. I don't know if you looked this up or not, but if you look up the demographics, you will see women are losing their jobs at a higher rate than anyone. Particularly, it seems to be in the health field. I just talked to my uncle not even the day before yesterday. I'm surprised he ain't called me yet. He usually calls me every day, getting me to brush up on what's going on in the town in New York. But I know he'll be calling soon. All right, well, the point is, I'm getting at is all these variables go into play as far as dating. Now, as we come out of quarantine and we now subside into this new reality that we're going to be living, this new collectiveness that we're going to be living, because it's going to be different. Please believe that. Everything that you knew of the past and how we used to celebrate, how we used to party or whatever, being that COVID-19 has lasted so long, it has changed. That duration of that time passing has changed the inner core of who you are as a person. Now, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying or not, but what I mean is it's changed you emotionally. Okay? And in many cases, it's changed a lot of people empathetically because now a lot of people seem to themselves to say, well, nobody was there for me when quarantine was going on. Nobody helped me go. You know, it's always a tit for tat. And I think that aids to the argument between men and women too. You know, there is a secret, in my opinion, invasion and a secret war. Had to use those Marvel titles, but a secret invasion and a secret war going on between and amongst the genders. A lot of people want to talk about it. A lot of people want to avoid the conversation and hope it gets better, which most of the time it doesn't. But there is a gender war going on. Make no mistake about it. Is it facilitated by everybody of the separate genders? Of course not. That would be ridiculous to say that. But it is facilitated by some key individuals within both genders, the MGTOW crowd and the feminist crowd or the hard feminist crowd. I've seen many, many examples of it for women protesting and getting mad and spitting in men's faces, slapping men. I saw a woman cut a man with her fingernails on his skin doing a protest because they were protesting they were anti-abortion. I've seen people get urine thrown at them in New York City in balloons. I've seen people get beat up in protests in Brooklyn like several times. You know what I mean? And the police will pretty much not intervene or not care at all. You know, and this is a form of gender wars, in my opinion, and deafening to the ears of any relationship that's supposed to come forth out of this. So you can't get what I'm saying. The events that are going on in society are now transcending into the dating world because the animosity that you have towards a lot of things that may be specific from the other gender that you don't like, whether you be a man or a woman, are now going into your head preordained when you go into the dating world or when you try to attempt to date. So if you're the type of person that comes into interaction with most women in your neighborhood or surrounding, depending on where you live at, and the women are kind of like hot-headed or loud or obnoxious or passive aggressive or whatever, you tend to be the same way in your approach. If you're around a lot of women that are soft and nice and feminine and not as hard and rough, you tend to act more like a gentleman. You understand? It depends on the environment that you're in as a man a lot of times. And I think a lot of women don't understand that. And the same thing goes for women. If you treat a woman nicely and like a woman, I do believe in most cases, you get some wackos out there, but in most cases, y'all please hit those like buttons if y'all could. I do believe in most cases, most women will be receptive to that. And even if they don't like you, they will at least be nice. I've seen a lot of guys. Let me tell you, I always talk about these baby boys and baby girls, but those are the ones that made the dating pool worse. The baby boys and the baby girls. Let me tell you what I mean. I mean the hoopsters, the hoodsters. See, the hoodsters did something, and the po trash and the Latinx wannabes. They all did something that was quite interesting. They changed the dynamic of dating. And they made the dating world about sex and bravado, which one time men would have carried that mantle. And I think men seemingly will still do until the end of time because we won't have any procreation without men, you know. So that's why I always laugh when I hear that term, girls rule the world. That's not to be chauvinistic. It's just kind of funny to me. Yeah, you are the receptacle for birth, but without me, there is no birth, period. There's no conception, period. You know what I mean? Like, so let's be real. Let's use reality. Okay, the technology has not been adapted enough where you women can go along and have babies by yourself. So somewhere along the line, you're going to want to do that. There's a lot of women nowadays that have their own businesses. Um, a lot of those businesses are going under, which is a lot of different demographics out there and a lot of different stacks that point to that. One being, if you just look at the last economic report of the United States for joblessness, you will see that most of those businesses going under are entrepreneurs that can't stay afloat. If you're a digital entrepreneur, you probably stand a better chance as a woman. But if you are a brick and mortar entrepreneur with a storefront or a restaurant front or et cetera, you are amongst the numbers that are going down right now. As I said, there was a federal report last month. That will be the last one you get for November, and it will explain all this. But majority of it is women that are losing their jobs at an alarming rate, more so than I was aware of myself. All these things play into play, especially if a woman has children. And I wanted to ask you guys how you feel about that. Do you guys date girls with children, or do any of you women, do you have children, and are you actively dating right now? I'd like to know. So if anybody has a clue on that, please type it in. We'll go back to it and talk about it. My experiences with dating women that have kids are they're very 50-50. I've dated women that had kids, and I've had a wonderful experience with them for the time and the age that I was. Guys, please hit those like buttons and links are in the description. Stringer Bell 80, STRINGERBELL 80. Again, that's $ STRINGERBELL 80. All sizes of donations, and I always put you guys in the community section when you donate it. So I take a screenshot and put it up there. Not your whole name, but I write and put it up there to thank you guys. The funny thing is, most of the dating pool now is going to be scarred even more because you now have a lot of women that have children that are in financial hardships, and a lot of men that are in financial hardships right now. And a lot of men do not want to take on the responsibility of one, two, possibly three more kids that aren't yours, coupled with the fact, especially if they're close around still and you're still interacting with them, or you're still, a lot of men just don't prefer that. How can I say, without being rude? A lot of men don't prefer that, not challenge, because it's not a challenge to me. It's a choice, and a lot of men are choosing not to make that choice. Ever so many times nowadays when you're dating, you're gonna run into a woman that has kids, and if you're lucky, you might work out with it. Me personally, not my preference. Not saying that it wouldn't work, but in the past when I've done it, it's been 50-50. Like, you have good experiences with one, and then the next one is like World War III. You're like, what the, you know? So my preference now is not to date a woman with a child. I don't preferably get into dating older women either because I have no kids and I want to have kids. So I tend to find that a lot of girls have had their kids, especially in the Northeast here, at a lot of times 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And so now a lot of times those women are grandmothers because their child has repeated the same behavior and had a child at 13, 14, 15 years old. And now they run around like they're sisters, but in reality, in a regular world, they would be sisters, at the age range they are. But instead, they're mother, daughter, grandmother now. That's the dynamic. They changed the whole dynamic in one generation. Isn't that hard to believe? It's crazy, right? But it's happened. Please hit those like buttons, guys, if you agree. Um, Most of the time now, when guys look at girls and they potentially want to date them, what I hear uttered and echoed a lot is the same thing that I just said. Oh, does she have some kids? It really changes the dynamic of the conversation because now a man is thinking, oh God, how much money I'm gonna spend? Oh God, I wonder if they gonna like me. Oh God. You see, now you've added and coupled different things along with the choice in you. Now a lot of women gonna be like, well, ain't no any real nigga with that. Well, you know what? You keep your real N word, okay? And the best of luck to you guys in ghetto effervescence. Me, no. Usually those families like that, people that think like that, are delusional. You will never replace that child's father, physical father. Even if it didn't come up for 18 years, on the 19th year when it comes up, you will come to the realization that that is not your bloodline. There will be something there to remind you. Trust me of this. It always happens. And whether it's a family member from the father's side or the mother's side, whoever did the abandonment, the subject is going to come up. And you're going to feel a type of way whether you want to or not. And that feeling is going to be a feeling of alienation. Okay? You're going to feel like, okay, and there's going to be subtle times that you'll hear the chick say, well, that ain't your kid anyway. You hear it. You're going to hear it once or twice. So me personally, I'm going to say for me, I have made it a best interest of myself not to date women with kids because I don't have any kids. That doesn't mean that that's the best interest and choice for everybody. That might be the perfect choice for you. Maybe that's where all you needed was a girl with kids. I preferably don't want a girl that already has a family already. I don't want to take on the responsibility. I don't think it fits in the foray of what I'm trying to do. I personally don't have time for you to go look for a babysitter every 5 minutes when we get ready to go somewhere. Sometimes I'm spontaneous. I want to get up and be like, hey, you know what? I want to go to New York today, and I can do it. Sometimes I'm spontaneous and say, hey, I want to go to the mall today. I can go do it. I don't have to worry about a babysitter. I don't have to worry about any of that. I think in the dating pool, I'm actually a commodity. I've had a wonderful career, not job, career, you know what I mean, in three different office buildings. I've been on TV numerous times. I've got a hell of a resume. So for me, up to the time the corona started, you know what I'm saying? I was still in the same entertainment business field. So I feel blessed for that and I feel lucky for that. Nowadays, it seems like a lot of women are taken by the fold when you say you don't want a woman with kids already. And I have to say to them, okay, baby, let's say baby girl is 25. Okay, let's just say she's 25. Okay, that's a pretty even number right there. And that goes for the men too. I'm gonna get to the men too. Don't think I forgot about you, baby boy. We're talking about the baby girls right now. Let's say you're 25. And I have to pick from a selection of 25-year-old girls, including yourself. Now I'm looking at you. You're 25, and you got a kid. You preferably or may not live in some type of government housing. You probably got some type of government assistance that doesn't allow me or you and I to live, or either I have to take on the full responsibility of it and get you out of those programs and move you into somewhere else. or either two, you have a ongoing thing with the baby's father. I mean, whatever the case may be. There are a lot of things that are already a block wall for me as far as how I carry myself and who I am. And I'll say a lot of other men out there too, because I've had the conversation. Now, let's do that in comparison with a 25-year-old girl that's getting ready to graduate from Yale College this summer. Let's put that in comparison of a 25-year-old girl that's getting ready to graduate from Columbia. Let's put that in the combination of a 25-year-old girl that's like me and worked in the same career field and also doesn't have any kids. What decision you make is of your own. But for me, I'm picking the graduate. That's me. Now, you can pick whoever you want to, and that's fine. That's up for you. Everybody's kittens ain't for everybody, and I don't knock anybody that does. I'm stating simply what's the best decision for me. And that best decision for me, I do believe personally, is not to be with a woman that has kids already. All right? And that's all I'm saying. I think a lot of other men are starting to look at the same thing and they're saying, okay, well, why are these girls using condoms? Or why are these girls da 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 da? And the question doesn't come up. A lot of times men will be put under the pressure and ask, well, why did you use a condom with her? Or blah, 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 blah. When you have to ask the same question. We all went to, adult ed and everything else. How come she didn't ask the guy to use a condom? How come she's not on birth control? How come she's not has some type of contraceptive or an IUD or something like why is she protecting herself? Why is she putting her protection and her safety in my hands raw? You know what I mean? Like, has anyone ever asked that question? It's not like women are a group of retarded kids running around or something. You know what I mean? I know some very smart, intelligent women that I've had come in my life, both black, white, Spanish, you name it. You understand what I'm saying? So I have a clear distinction between dizzy broads, chicks that live in delusion, and women that keep it real. I said women. Women. Now, I mean, this is no disrespect to any woman out there that's a single mother, anything like that. And I think there's a group of men out there that no more than anything want to be in you and your kids' life. You understand what I'm saying? And I wish y'all the best. I really do. Now, there's a lot of men out here that echo on the same stratosphere. Now, let's talk about you guys. See, there's a lot of dudes out here, and I know a few of them. I bet them in my lifetime. That the baby tricker, as I like to call them. See, there's a lot of dudes out here that'll go out here and they'll tell these girls, "Oh, baby, I love you. Oh, baby, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Oh, baby, you ain't nobody else better for me than you." And a blah 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 blah. Right? And as they say that to you, the woman starts getting emotions. She's now ready to sleep with you. She's had you come over. Y'all giggling. You played the game. She's played the game. And then all of a sudden, y'all start sleeping with each other. And then, boom, she's pregnant. Now, she's put all her trust in you when she thinks you love her. She thinks you care about her. How you doing, guys? You think you love her, thinks you care about her, etc., etc., etc. And all along, you don't give it. You don't care. In fact, in many cases, a lot of times with some of these professional baby maker dudes that I've come across in my lifetime, that's just another one in the niche. Y'all please hit those like buttons and also hit the Cash App $ Stringer Bell 80. Link is in the description also for PayPal. A lot of times these guys do this out of sport, and I've seen a lot of guys that do this out of sport. Like I say, I don't have kids. At this point, do I want some kids? Possibly. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm hoping more so it does. I definitely know it's not going to happen here in the Northeast. We're not this part of the Northeast, and probably not New York either. New York, Connecticut, and Jersey have some of the most rough, hard women you ever meet in your life. They're not very, and I'm speaking of the other places I've been to. I've lived in Miami. I've lived in LA for a little bit. I've lived in many different parts of the countries, as you guys can see all the pictures I put up. So I've had and women are different depending on where you go. They're very much different. A lot of variables make them different too. The weather, I think the weather here in the Northeast makes most women kind of shitty up here, and a kind of nasty attitude they have, like a lot of times. And then there's some very nice girls here too. You just have to look for them most of the time in the country. But as you get anywhere towards the city or the mid-sized cities here in Connecticut, New Jersey, or New York, you're always going to get girls that are just like kind of narcissistic. And so when they meet these narcissistic men that have the same thumbs, they kind of like fit glove and glove. And so now what their whole objective is at that time is to kind of get over on each other. Look who's talking, NC. Okay, so define to me what look who's talking. I'd like to know. The new grandparents are now 27. I know, right? Definitely a lot of dysfunction these days. Exactly. They don't want the Brady Bunch. They don't. Robbie Blue. Hello, what's going on, Robbie? I gotta hear what you're saying, NC. So let me know what you're talking about. I'll wait for NC to reply, but he didn't reply. Maybe he logged off. I don't know. Or maybe he's typing. But he said, wow, really? Look who's talking. Well, dude, I don't know if you're upset with me, but I'm trying to, play the dual favor of neutrality here. If you're not familiar with that, I'm basically just playing the middle. I don't know for either side. I'm just discussing what is obviously there. And for so many of reasons, so many people want shit cookie cutter, like cookie cutter fashion to them, and I can't do that. I'm a New Yorker to my curve. I don't sit there and hold my tongue for anybody. I don't care who you are, how tough you are, or how tough you think you are. I got about 30 or 40 dudes that will put you and your whole family down if need be. I don't mess around. So for me, when I go into a relationship with a woman, I don't want to go into a relationship when I intentionally know there's going to be some problem there. And that's what happens a lot of times with these girls. These girls will try to make other men, they will have other men that they're talking to already, and they will try to use you to make that man jealous because that's the man they really like. I've seen guys do the same thing to girls that have one girl, then have another girl that's stringing along to make that girl jealous, or they're in between the relationship when these guys have been dealing with each other for 10 plus years. I've seen it all. So it's not just the men getting over on the women, it's the women getting over on the men as well. But what we're saying is, when does it end? You understand what I'm saying? We all got this mentality. You got people right now that work at McDonald's talking about get to the bag when they make $30,000, $40,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Shanice, what's going on? On the check-in. T Baby G, I'm just trying to tell you, probably caught a lot. Yeah, Kia, what's going on, Kia? Thank you for tuning in. Y'all guys hit those like buttons if you can, if you're just tuning in. I appreciate it. It keeps me in the algorithm. Yeah, we're just talking about why are women acting so weird. Make sure y'all hit that like button, and make sure y'all hit the donation button, Stringer Bell 80 Cash App, or you can hit the PayPal link, both in the description. Thanks, guys. Make sure you hit those like buttons. Women today, I think, are starting to realize something, that they have more impact and more power. And I think this is previous to COVID-19. I think since COVID-19 has hit, now that everything is switched online, there's a lot of interaction online between the genders, men and women. And some of it's good, but the most of it is just horrible. Anybody tried Facebook dating? Anybody tried that? Anybody? Facebook is horrible. It is the worst thing. If you want to set up, and do not go for the people they pick for you. Trust me on that. Same thing with Plenty of Fish. Same thing with Tinder. Like, they're all just basically hookup apps. They're not horrible, exactly. They're horrible. So they're not nothing but basically like hookup apps at this point. They don't have anything significant along to offer with them except for hooking up. That's it, and that's cool, that's fine, if that's what you want to do. But if you're looking for a serious relationship, Tinder, and I think a lot of those places is not. What's going on, Boss MVP? Said live from Dallas, Texas. What's going on? I just smashed that like button. After 6 years, I'm happily single. Now, you say after 6 years, you're happily single. What made you guys break up? Because it was 7 for me. What made you guys break up? That's what I want to know. I want to know you guys' relationship stories and how you see relationships. So stop being conscientious. Stop being like light on your finger, and type in what you guys experience. I want to know. This is not just about me. It's therapeutic for me, of course, but it's also about you guys. I want to know what you guys see and what you guys think and what are your experiences, and type them in. Don't just comment. Type in what you really feel. Because the only way you're going to get to the core of this whole situation is if you actually take the time and you break it down and unpack it and see what's wrong and what's right. And a lot of people will rather have a conversation about what's the newest rap song out than that. We're talking about your future. See, the average rap song lasts about 2 or 3 months. I know I spent years promoting them, okay? Years, a decade and 6 years, okay? So I spent years making albums. I can make an album pop just like that. That's no problem. Today's climate or there. That's not the problem. I got my own music I'm working on new to release. We're not talking about music. We're talking about the social impact that music has on society and relationships. Because I tell you, a lot of people at the time I grew up, we talk all about R. Kelly. We talk all about a lot of these old R&B singers. But let me tell you something. R. Kelly, Keith Sweat, Silk, Usher, and a host of others started some families. Okay, they started a whole bunch of families in the United States here, probably across the world too. But their music sparked a few moments of intimacy that led to procreation. All right, let's put it that way. That's the best way I can put it for you. You like to drink a lot, you said. Okay, his daughter had a lot of issues, and he was. Now, see, there you go. After 6 years, I'm happily single. His daughter had a lot of issues, and he was like to drink a lot. That's crazy. Now, you just uttered the same thing, and I thought, T-Baby, I thought you was a dude at first. So your ex, you say, had a lot of. First of all, I want to point this part out. She said his daughter had a lot of issues. His daughter. I uttered those words a few minutes ago, and I'm not saying that's what you're going to get every time. No, 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 no. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times it's a probability. It's a probability that this is what you'll get. You will get some shit. See, a lot of times when you're dating girls, I say if you're going to date a girl with a child, and she knows that the child's father or mother is permanently out of the life, that's the best time to deal with them when they're early. When they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, it's much too late. They've seen other faces. They're not worried about you. They know the distinction between their family, their father, mother, whoever that's absent, and you. Whether you know it or not, they know the distinction. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it can blossom into something beautiful. I say more times, I'm willing to gavel say it doesn't. I'm saying to say many times it sounds just like what this person said, and the issues of them and their child now become yours. You understand what I'm saying? The issues of her and the child now become yours, or him and the child become yours. As this woman quite brilliantly said, I was trying to be a good stepmother, but it was too much, see? And she said the guy drank a lot too. She said she was trying to be a good stepmother. So I'm not making this stuff up. It happens in both genders. So somewhere or another, what's most paramount, I guess, in the whole equation here is where do you come to a solution? What do you say about yourself? You say, okay, what can I do to make myself a better person so the next person I date or the next person that steps to me or flirts with me or whatever, I mess up a lot of times. A lot of times girls are straight up flirting with me. They do the whole thing, flicking their hair or acting like they drive something or stopping in the middle of the floor because they want you to talk to them. And it's like a lot of times, a lot of guys can't pick that up. Only other girls can pick that stuff up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're banting your hair at me, I might look at it, but after a minute, because I'm a guy, I might turn around and say, what the hell's wrong with her? You know what I mean? As a guy, I might see you do something weird, like stop in the middle of the floor while I'm right there and start looking around aimlessly or whatever, whatever. That's because I don't know that you want me to talk to you. And that's what a lot of women are saying. They just want you to talk to them. But you guys, you gotta find some new strategies for real, and you'll attract better people. Next thing I want to say is, I watch who I date nowadays. If I see you talking with too much slang, like I don't date girls that run around. If you go around playing Pop Smoke all day, you're not the type of chick for me. If you run around playing Flivio Flavio, you ain't the chick for me. If you ride around playing ASAP and it's Fashion Killer, maybe. If you ride around and you playing Kendrick, maybe. But any chick that plays a hardcore selection of rap, you're not for me. You damn near dude. And in the end, his new girlfriend hated me and set my car on fire. Jesus Christ, did you hear this? T Baby G said, and in the end, his new girlfriend hated me and set my car on fire. I've had that one happen too, T. Let me tell you, I ain't never had my car set on fire, but I will tell you an interesting story. I was dating a girl, and I have this happen to me frequently. A lot of it has to do with the background and history of the business I was in, which I can totally understand because it's not the first time it's came up. I used to deal in the music business for 16 years. I've got to know women. Yes, I do know women. I know women in other countries and everything else that are friends with me to this day that I've met in Miami, LA, and everywhere else. I throw up pictures of them so you guys can see it and see my life for what it was or whatever. And probably how it'll manifest will still become after this crap is over. You know what I mean? I've had situations where I've dated girls and they turn around and get the new boyfriend and will try to fling the new boyfriend in my face like we supposed to be, I don't know, like jealous or something. And I'm just like, okay. And then a couple of months, usually not no more than a year after that, they either broken up or something terrible happened. It always ends up like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's God's way of telling me to get away from them. But I've had the same thing happen before too. I've had someone literally be with me and just, I don't know, just tear me apart really. And I still didn't make it detour myself. I've had three women in my life that have done that. And I still didn't let me detour myself from dating or meeting the next woman because I don't know if the next woman might be, the dream for me. I don't know. So you've got to, I think when you date someone and it doesn't work out, you can't take that energy with you into the next relationship because I think personally what happens is sooner or later the person starts to become bitter, whether you're a man or you're a woman. You start to become bitter, hard, numb to certain emotions, numb to certain things, numb to certain reactions. And in some cases, a lot of women and men become susceptible to more so, I think, if anything, starting to realize that, hey, I might be alone for the rest of my life. I may not have anybody else. Guys, make sure you hit those like buttons. I may not have anyone else forever in my life. And it becomes a reality for many. I think that reality starts to sit in around the age of 35 for some people, especially women. Women have a smaller clock than men. Men can have children up to the day they die. The stories of Noah. I can tell you people that are new. David Letterman just had a baby at like 70. Jesus Christ, Mick Jagger continues to have kids out of his 20 something. I think he has now. It's 70. So, so men for the rest of their life, they're not technically on a time clock to the degree that women are. Usually the race ends at around about 40 naturally, but it can extend in today's technology and the things that we have going on up to 48 to 49 years old. But let's live in reality. Most 48, 49-year-old women, I'm going to go as far as to say 80% of them are not having kids. It's 48, 49 naturally. All right, let's stop the BS. All right, so I've been with women, and I think one of the problems is I don't have kids and I'm older. And so, I would think I'm the prize. I don't have any drag with me. I don't have any baby mom chasing me. I ain't in and out of court, But no, more often than enough, it's always the baby fathers that get chose. It's always the hood boogers that get chose. It's always the guys that do nothing to get chose. Even when I was with Bad Boy, it was like that. And I always, it would be me in the room and then it'd be somebody lesser looking in the room. And you'd be like, what the fuck's going on, But that's the person they want. So you got to let them have them. Everybody's got somebody natural for themselves. So if a girl disses you for a dirty looking dude or a dude disses you for a dirty looking girl, that's because their energies were the same. They deserve each other. So let them have each other. That's what I say. Real life dealing with this right now. So this is crazy. So this recently happened to you, T, baby? She caught your car on fire? Because that's crazy to me. And women, for some reason or another, they always get mad. Women and men, but women always get mad at the other woman to show their devotion and love. And I notice that men, they kind of do the same thing, which I find more times than soon enough. It's usually a woman that was raised solely by, a man that was raised solely by a woman, which is kind of interesting and weird at the same time for me because I'm thinking to myself, okay, if that's the case, then why the hell are you bringing this toxic energy to every relationship you go to? Like you're done, man. Like leave us alone. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. And do the COVID and the courts keep pushing the case back? Yeah. April. That's a long time. That's a long time ago. Yeah, they're gonna keep doing that. You probably potentially won't see that whole case get litigation or any type of adjudication until probably, I would say, September, maybe even possibly this time next year. You know, I hope you get over that, and I hope insurance covers your car. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And speaking of insurance, I need some insurance. Cash App $ STRINGERBELL 80. That's Trigger Bell 80, guys. I'm going to talk about this for about 10 more minutes because I don't think you guys want to engage, and I want to go into talking about something else. I'm going to do that about 10 minutes after I get off here. So I want you guys to make sure you tune into that because you're going to be surprised by that. I'll give you a quick little synopsis, though. There's a gentleman that so adaptly in I think it's Sewell's Hills, Milwaukee, Suix Hills, Milwaukee. He pretended for a straight year to be part of Black Lives Matter. Actually, it wasn't even 1 year; it was a couple years to be part of Black Lives Matter. Who he actually was is going to surprise y'all. I think it'll surprise y'all more than anything that I brought y'all in a few minutes. So I want to make sure that you guys check out that live. Be here for that. I'm going to do that in probably about 10 or 15 minutes after shutting this down. I just want to talk about this a little bit more because I want to know where women sit nowadays as far as relationships are concerned, casual sex even. Um, and I want to know where you are because STD rates and STI rates are up significantly in a couple of places. One of the places I was considering going where it's significantly higher is ATL. So I was like, get that one. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm one of them guys. I like that in the morning, you know. So and in the evening, at night, at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm one of those guys, you know. So, I gotta have a partner that I can trust, and I know even if they are cheating, if they cheating raw, they ain't in a city that's disease infested that would, amp up it even more. Like a lot of people ask me, they're like, "Yo, I bet you have mad chicks in New York." No, I got chicks that I know in New York that are platonic friends, the majority of them. Shout out to my girl Gentle, shout out to my girl Dion, shout out to Chris, a couple other homegirls that I've never done absolutely anything with. Like that's real talk. I've never done anything with them, period. And it is platonic friends. These girls will shoot for me, fight for me, whatever I need. So I never had no problems with chicks. I'd be like, go get the business. You know what I'm saying? Um, New York had a high AIDS rate at one moment. We got coupled by that, tuberculosis, and a couple other things. This is public knowledge. This is not new, and I'm telling you. You would think that that would change the dating curve as far as things go, but no, it doesn't. I have seen so many people in New York City rolling around, hitting raw dog that it would surprise you. It would surprise you. It would surprise you. And as they have this fun, they don't think too much about what the repercussions are, and I can understand that. I can get that. But yeah, I never really messed too much around in why. The time I was there, I had 3 women that I directly involved myself in with the whole time I was there, and those women were special to me, and they still are special to me. They just went about their own ways in different fashions or whatever. One moved out of New York. Another one got back with somebody she was previously with, which is no problem because she had told me that from the beginning. See, that's why I can admire honesty. And then the third person, it just didn't work out with us. We totally different. I'm very creative. I'm talkative. I love to talk. So if you're gonna be with me as a female, you gotta like to talk. If you don't like to talk, and you just like one of these like I have my moments when I'm quiet and I want to be to myself. But majority of the time I like to talk and carry on a conversation because who the hell wants to be around somebody that's born that's trying to pretend to act cool all day long? Like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Or someone that you gotta make up an event to entertain them every 5 minutes. Like, what do I look like? The court gesture? Like it's got to be some equation when it comes to dating nowadays, and I think that we've got to start centering on the issues that we have. Guys, please hit those like buttons if you could. I think we need to start centering on the issues that we have in dating and the way that society, social media, and a couple of other outlets. More importantly, the media just in general, which is inclusive of all those things: digital media, music, digital streaming media, and a whole host of other things that are media compartments, include books nowadays that almost seemingly don't exist. You have to take in turn that somehow or sometime or someday we're going to have to wake up to the reality that we might be destroying ourselves by our attitudes, not only as a society but as a culture. And what I mean by that is this: if you have inter turmoil within the culture and specifically the genders, what happens is they start to detest each other. They start to hate each other. They start not to like each other. And as we've seen even with mammals that do this in certain little pockets and groups, they will not procreate. And their numbers will start to dwindle. And as the numbers start to dwindle, they start getting on the endangered species list and, so on and so on and so forth. And the population dwindles. This has not only happened with mammals, but which we are as mammals, I mean the animals, but it's not only happened with animals, it's also happened with human cultures all across the world. I mean, I implore all of you to go look it up for yourself, and you will see that almost every generation of civilization outside of Pompeii, which was destroyed by a volcano, almost every generation that succumbed at some point or another was because its population could not procreate any longer and produce any offspring. Unfortunately, that enactment of not being able to produce any offspring led to almost the total destruction of the culture itself. And this is why you get dead languages. This is why you get dead societies. This is why you get places that are unearthed that have 6 or 7 layers of clay, mud, and soil on top of them. And under the bottom, you find this huge statue that's probably 13, 14 feet high. You're like, what? There was a civilization that lived here? Yes, they killed themselves off because of the inner turmoils of them as a society. So even though this is only one component, is an important component. Is the component that I think almost 20 years ago, I'm going to say didn't exist. You know, the new millennium brought a lot of things. It brought a lot of terrible things. It brought a lot of good things. But overwhelmingly, I'm seeing one of the most terrible things that it brought. And you can look at the numbers. Okay, look at the numbers. I know you think I'm just talking, but look at the numbers. For white women, their birth rates are down. For black women, their number one thing is infant mortality, abortion, or birth rates are just down. For Latin women, it's infant mortality, abortion, or birth rates are just, or birth rates, in other words, are up for them though. But it's infant mortality, the unilateral for the minority women. Infant mortality cooped by abortion. Now, a lot of this is attributed by poverty, of course. Um, Will I sit here and say that all black people are poor? Hell no. I don't think anybody in their right mind would say that. We have millionaires and billionaires now, and have so for a long time. We have people in our culture that grew up very opulent, more so opulent than a lot of white kids. I know a lot of white kids. I grew up better than they did, had more than they did growing up. They could pretend all they want to, or, I'm white. Look at me. Okay, well, you got the same credit score. You got, there's a lot of variables that come in that somebody can't just do you a favor because of your skin tone in every situation. If you think so, then you're an idiot. I can prove to you time after time after time after time after again when I had people in competition with me to try to do the same thing when that wasn't my intention, but since you want to take it there, you know what I mean? And they lost. So, being light skinned or having that's enough to get you through at the restaurant, maybe at a personal friend's house. But when it comes down to it, you're going to need a lot more than that to carry your rate. You always keep that in mind. The differences in society, as far as they're affecting the genders now, is irreversible. And it might be irreversible. And I want you guys to know that the best way you can cure this is by making better music, loving each other more, taking the time to have some empathy to somebody. I see so many people, they'll spend a day or two online arguing with somebody, but won't take 5 seconds to say hello or good morning or whatever. And that's what I like about my followers. My followers will always come on and say, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's everything going? Da, 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 da. And I know my journey has been long here. It's 21 degrees out today. 21 degrees. And it's about to snow for the next 2 days. Top on top. That's like I told y'all before. I said when it snows here, it snows on top of each other. That's how it does here in Connecticut. It always has done that. Um, so for the next 2 days, we're going to be seeing some snow. I'm not looking forward to that snow. I'm not looking forward to really, I love this state. I really do. I really do. I love this state. I can see raising my kids here. Maybe not in this part of the state, but definitely in the state. Connecticut has a lot to offer. I miss home in New York too, though. I miss Virginia sometimes too, but not as much. I don't know that place anymore. To be 35 plus and not have a wife or kids is a bearing on a lot of men. And a lot of men see it more and more, feel it more and more every day. And during a time like this, with this COVID thing going on and everything like that, it makes a lot of men and women both very lonely. Very lonely, very awkward. I've seen the suicide rates have been up and a lot of other things. So please take in this in consideration. During your day to day, say something nice to somebody. You see a girl that you like or you see a guy that you like, flirt with them, say hello. Just start a different vibe that's better. You know? What's the Spanish word for today? Este deal. When do COVID and courts keep pushing the case back? Este deal. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this topic alone because I know a lot of people are going to be like, yo, what the hell? I'm going to throw up one video. And then after that, what I want to do, guys, is I want to take you on this little journey with this guy from Black Lives Matter, which if you're a conspiracy theorist or one of those people that always come on my page and say, but what about them? You ain't talked about them. Well, I'm going to talk about them now, all right? So calm down, relax, keep cool. I'm going to talk about them. And guys, if you could, make sure you contribute $STRINGERBELL 80. Trying to give me $100,525.62, something. You know what I'm saying? So my story is down below. You guys can check that out at any time. And if you're a new viewer, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And please share my videos. I like people to hear my voice and hear what I have to say. And I like to have you guys in the comments interacting so we can hear what you got to say. I couldn't understand the Spanish word. Take off the mask for a second so I can hear the correct pronunciation. Oh, Jesus Christ. You're going to get me in trouble, lady. Este deal. Este deal. Okay, you got me? Dia, deal, depending on what part of this Latin America you're from. All right, so listen. I want more and more people to start loving each other and start listening to more loving music. That would be one of the main things that would change your mood. So if you're listening to hardcore rap every 5 minutes, or trap music or every 5 minutes or whatever, then you need to maybe reevaluate your consumption level. And maybe that'll change your heart. Anybody else remember when I was speaking to R. Kelly and all those guys just a few minutes ago. And regardless of what R. Kelly has done, beso man, besito, besito, besito. Talking to somebody in here that's Latina. It's we're talking that even. I think the only person that does music like that maybe now is Jacquees. Who else could somebody think of? Tory Lanez, Bryson Tiller, Chris Brown. Where they do that kind of traditional sound on R&B that makes you want to, boom, hey, what you doing? Nothing. You want to come and watch some Netflix or something? I got this popcorn and this potato chips, something, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple bags of something, you know what I mean? That type of vibe, good vibes, I would rather do that than go out nowadays. So we're gonna have to change our whole dynamic of dating, our whole approach to dating, our whole approach to women and men. We're not just sex tools and sex toys to lay on our back and procreate crappy kids. I miss the Ozzy brothers and the brothers. I'm not that old, but that would have been my mom's times. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. But I have heard that music and I know that music. My period it was more, the R. Kelly's, Bad Biv DeVoe. Who else? God, I was a kid when that stuff came out too. Oh my God, I was like in like I don't know, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, somewhere around there. I was like a kid. It had to be fifth grade because I remember going to fifth grade dancing to Do Me. So if that gives you any indication how old I am, I'm not old. I'm young, but you know what I'm saying. Like Busta Rhymes said about T.I. You say you old young face looking motherfucker. Do you remember Hope You Feel Better, Love? Do you remember Hope You Feel Better, Love? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been a little sick past 2 days with the sniffles or whatever. It's very cold up here, so it's like, and today didn't make it any better. It's 21 degrees in Connecticut today. So I'm about to head back to my way in a minute, but at least wanted to go live with you guys on this one. If I don't go live on the next one, please look out for it. I will do it, I swear to God, to you first thing tomorrow, or I'll just do a separate video and upload it. But I'm going to talk about it because you guys need to hear this from a good view and a good point area. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys, they talk about stuff and they just get on the gossip. They don't really break down what actually happened. So I want to do that with you, with this particular gentleman that was part of Black Lives Matter. But, and I'm going to leave it at that. So, guys, I'll see you in a little bit. Guys, make sure you donate to the links, $STRINGERBELL80. That is Stringerbell80 on Cash App. And there's also a PayPal link in the description. I'm trying to make $565,000, $22.68. So, if y'all can help me, I had to think of something funny because the way I look at it is, man, I can sit here and pout and complain or whatever, or I can try to make something happen, and that's what I do. I try to make something happen daily or whatever. So, guys, if you would contribute to the links or whatever, I will be back, and I'm gonna throw up an upload about Puff and his crew sending me a nice little text message the other night, which you can find in the community section right here. I posted it, and my reply. Those guys are just. I don't know. I'm so glad I'm away from that. I really am. Good luck to them. That boat got a hole in it anyway. It's 50 Cent said, so let them go down with the ship. You know what I mean? I'm all set. I don't want a legacy of someone that wouldn't help me in my lowest point in life, but considered me a part of the company. Not only considered me a part of the company, but everything that you have held and said you were about was come to find out to be a fraud. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you so much, T Baby G. I appreciate it, man. T Baby G say he hit me up, shun on the Cash App. I appreciate it. Salute, man. Salute, mama. I appreciate that. I see that it's always, like I said, it's always the women. The women are the realest supporters I have. The dudes, oh my God, the dudes, they get mad at what I say. I had one dude get mad at me putting up a Bootsy post. I had to block him. He got mad at me because I put up a post about Bootsy in the wheelchair. So I just deleted the whole post. That's why y'all see that one post about Bootsy. I just deleted the whole post because I was like, I am not going to argue with somebody from, I couldn't even tell where he was from, but I just looked at his videos and I was like, he looks like he's in like Washington State or something. Some rural place that nothing happens. I mean, what happens? Some squirrels ran up a tree out there, and he was just trying to dictate to me about Bootsy or whatever. So I asked him in the question, I said, have you ever been around Bootsy? Because I have. And he was just like, he didn't have anything to say. So once he did that, I just blocked him. Then I had another dude come to me and say, why you always asking for donations? Because I'm a vlogger. That's what everybody does. It's how I make my living. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about a lot of black dudes and Spanish dudes, but for some reason or another, they get mad if you find a way on a means to something that they can't do. But why don't you just practice it? Start your own YouTube channel. Why you come to I got this other guy named Mr. that came to my page today and has been trying to tell me what to put up, what not to put up, and all. I'm like, huh? This is my channel. The channel that has 849,000 views. Well, you got 3 subscribers versus my 6,000 plus. And you trying to give idea. You could even your page has been erected since 2009. Okay, 2009, and you got 15 something subscribers. You ain't exactly setting the world on fire, are you there, Sparky? Thank you, T Baby G. I appreciate that. Let me see who else wrote something down here. Okay. But I hate that. So the women have been so much more just respectful. They come through, and I just want to salute y'all. The dudes when they came and they did donate, they always wanted something. I've never seen such a group. I want to end off with that. I've never seen such a group of weak men in my life as the ones they have today. I'm talking about all three races: black, white, polka dot, purple. It doesn't matter. This weak men. I'm just like, okay, so say if a war break out, you got this feminine man behind you. Girl, stop it, girl. Stop it. We in trouble, honey. Oh, no. I hear guys talk like this nowadays. And they get scared of me because I know I got a rough voice. I'm a New Yorker. I got a rough voice. I know that. I don't care. I know I articulate when I need to. I think I do a fine job of it. It's going to be these many views, right? I'm the one that's the oddball out because I talk like a guy, and any guy that talks with some bass in his voice, you got to be a threat. But if you talk like this, hi, how are you doing? Oh my God, yes, oh yeah, and talk all fake and shit. Like you got people talking like that grew up in dead center in the high-rise projects. It's confusing to me. You understand what I'm saying? It's like it's very confusing to me. So with that being said, sometimes I look at some people and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, what are you that much of a conformist that you don't have one single original idea in your body, one single original gesture or natural flow in your body to anything, or you just that much of a conformist? And conform reality. Being a conformist only gets you so much. Conforming means that you're amped to be a slave, in my opinion. Conforming means no more. Being a conformist means no more than being someone that does what they're told to do and likes being told what to do, because in a normal fashion they couldn't know how to react on their own. So I find a lot of the men, and if you need any examples of this, and women too, I think the women do it out of a different reason. I think women do conformality, and they conform to certain things based on the fact that they want to be liked by other women. Well, I think men, when they do their conformality and they conform to things, I think they do it more so because they need to be accepted. And a lot of women love to be accepted, and I understand that, and I understand that they want to want the world for themselves. But ladies, let me tell you something, right? You don't have to do that. You understand what I'm saying? I know girls compete with other girls. I got two sisters. Girls compete with other girls every day. Be yourself and be that natural chick, and you'll be the one that sticks out above all of them. You could took 10 girls in the room and make them. I've been around some of the most beautiful girls in the world. I put up pictures of them. Models have been in every video you could think of. I've been through 3 record companies. I mean, everybody knows me. Everybody's talked about me. Chuck, no joke. You name it, a list of others have posts of me up right now. Storm and Roll, shout out to him. I'm known. Known enough. The problem is that a lot of girls now in this social media climate with Instagram and Facebook and everything like that, and you see the girls up there, and I like the body positivity movement, don't get me wrong, I actually like it. I think it's a good thing. But a lot of girls use the body positivity movement, and they do the most scantily clad, nasty, borderline, triple X porn stuff I've ever seen on Instagram. And I could put up a disrespectful meme and get blocked for that for 30 days. But that chick that's 13, 14, 15 years old in a lot of cases could put up a picture of herself halfway naked and gets nobody to flag it. That should be more of a bigger question than anything. How come nobody that's in her circle of friends has flagged that picture? How come nobody that maybe saw her naked, did they enjoy looking at that 13, 14, 15-year-old girl naked? How come they didn't flag it? See, this is the area that you're setting up for young girls to compete in with this love and hip hop. And shout out to Jacquay, that's my man. You know what I'm saying? We helped get him to love and hip hop. All right, so I know more about Mona Scott Young than you think. A lot of these other producers. Shout out to Terrence Clayton and a lot of other people that know me. So I put it in perspective like this. A lot of those shows that you guys have your children and your daughters watching influence them in the wrong ways to the point where a lot of these young girls are committing suicide because they feel like they can't live up to the expectations and the standards of the girls they see on the screen, even on Instagram or Facebook. And a lot of the boys are doing the same. I, in fact, believe that a lot of the force feeding of imagery, as I would like to say, is actually making kids now have a complex about themselves, like a deep, conceited complex about themselves that can only be tackled by anybody but their own self. And if their own self can't tackle it, then nobody can. It's a very sad state of affairs, man. I keep seeing you guys write something in here for some reason or another. It this I don't know. That's weird. But guys, I'm gonna get up out of here because I could go on and on about that as long as I could. But ladies, I just want to tell you this much: don't feel that you have to look. Don't go for the people they pick for you. Don't go for the people they pick for you. I don't know what that means. Don't go for the people they pick for you. You gotta explain that for me. What do you mean by that one? I'm gonna wait for you. I want to see what you mean by that. You said don't go for the people they pick for you. What do you mean by that? I'm gonna wait for Kia Jewel to come back, and she said, "Don't go for the people they pick for you." I don't know what that means, but Kia Jewel, I hope you write a response of what you were talking about. And guys, make sure you hit that like button. Also, $ STRINGERBELL 80. We are now. I just figured this out too. Today is actually the 16th, man. The 16th, which means there is now what 9 days of Christmas. 9 days of Christmas. My Christmas is gonna suck. It's gonna suck. I already know I'm gonna be by myself, so I'm not too much worried about that. I think I got that part and that aspect mastered now. I'm not feeling too bad about being by myself for Christmas. I just don't want to be broke, so I have at least an option. You know what I mean? Oh, Love and Hip Hop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Trash show. I'll never watch it either. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things. I just hope to God I don't have to send Christmas broke and alone. You know what I mean? I'm not broke, but you know what I mean. I want to at least get out of here for the day and just go somewhere. So that's where I'm at. I feel real sad being back around here. It's definitely a different place. I don't hate this place. I don't despise this place. And there's some people here I love, but this is not the place for me. Does that make sense? Um, in all sense and punishes, I guess you could say I outgrew this place, you know? And it's a great place. It really is. Some good people here, but it doesn't fit me. Guys, $STRINGER. That is Stringerbell 80. You can find it in the description box, please. Nowadays, of Christmas, huh? All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. And thank you for tuning in